In the shadowed heart of the Mamba Valley, where the trees whispered forgotten songs and the river spoke in riddles, lived a woman named Nyasha. Her skin was the color of rich earth, and her eyes carried storms. She lived alone on the edge of the village of Kalunzu, where the hyenas dared not howl, and the wind turned cold even in summer. Nyasha had once been like the other women, laughing, weaving, singing lullabies in rhythm with the drums. But all that changed after she returned from the forest, 9 moons pregnant, with a silence in her mouth and a secret in her belly. When her child was born, a daughter she named Lumo, Nyasha did something no one in the village had ever seen. She cradled the baby upside down. Head downward, tiny legs resting in the crook of her elbow, Nyasha would walk the dusty village paths, her baby swaying like a pendant between 2 worlds. The elders called it madness. "She defies nature," muttered old Mother Binta, her face carved with time. "She invites spirits," spat the priestess, her anklets rattling like bones. Even the children, wide-eyed and cruel in their innocence, pointed and laughed. "She holds her baby like a bat," but Nyasha never responded. Her silence was a stone too heavy for even the river to move. The other mothers warned their children not to play near her compound. They whispered of curses, of twisted wombs, of what happened to women who angered the ancestors. They did not know that Nyasha had not angered the spirits. She had seen them. Years ago, before her silence, before her swollen belly, Nyasha had entered the forbidden part of the forest during a red moon. She was searching for herbs to ease her mother's dying pain. Instead, she found a grove where no birds sang and time bent like branches. There, in the middle of a circle of stones, sat an old woman, blind, veiled in spider silk, her fingernails like claws of obsidian. "You seek healing," the woman rasped, "but pain is what you'll find." Nyasha, too proud to fear, stepped forward. "I will pay any price." The woman laughed, dry and crumbling. "Then know this. Your child will be born with light strong enough to blind the dead. And the dead, they're always watching. Hold her like the others do, and you feed her to the dark." The forest swallowed the old woman. The next day, Nyasha found her mother's pain gone, but so was her breath. Nyasha returned home with silence, and with it, the burden of the prophecy. Now, as little Lumo grew, so did the unease in Kalunzu. Animals began to vanish. First the dogs, then goats. At night, eerie cries echoed from the woods, cries that sounded like infants but had the cadence of something older, something hungry. One morning, a hunter returned wide-eyed and stuttering. "I saw them," he said. "Pale things with eyes like holes, crawling, clawing, digging under the village." The elder scoffed. "A man's lie is louder than his courage." But that night, the earth moaned. Graves burst open like mouths, and a child went missing. The villagers were desperate. They blamed Nyasha, of course. "She brought it with her. She walks with death. Look how she holds her child. She's cursed." A mob gathered outside her hut with torches and trembling hearts. But as they approached, a wind whipped through the valley, not from the sky, but from the earth itself. And in that wind came whispers. "She is the shield. She is the womb of light. Harm her, and we feast." The torches died in the fists of their holders. Nyasha stepped outside, baby still cradled upside down. "Do you want to know why I hold her this way?" she asked softly. No one answered. "Because beneath us, they wait. They hunger for light born of the living. And if her head ever points to the sky, they will know where to find her." Silence fell like ash. Then, from behind the huts, came a sound like bones snapping in rhythm. The earth cracked. Hands, pale, wrong, not quite human, began to claw their way up. The villagers screamed and scattered. But Nyasha stood firm. She turned her baby upright, and all hell opened. The creatures surged toward them, bone-thin, eye-socketed things that hissed in dead tongues. But just as the first one reached for Lumo, her eyes opened. Light poured out. Blinding, searing light, like lightning soaked in truth. The creatures shrieked. Smoke rose from their forms as they burned from the inside out. One by one, they collapsed into ash. Nyasha wept. She held her child to her chest. That night, the earth sealed itself. The wind calmed. The forest whispered a lullaby. The next morning, the villagers came to Nyasha's compound, heads bowed, shame heavy in their throats. She said nothing. She didn't need to. They now knew what she had always known. Years passed. Lumo grew, brilliant and strange. Her laughter kept the darkness at bay. And though she now walked upright, she always slept with her head downward, close to the earth, as if listening to the silence that once tried to swallow her. They no longer whispered behind Nyasha's back. They built songs in her honor. Because in the end, it wasn't madness. It was protection. And when Lumo had a daughter of her own, she held her upside down too.